Hey everyone, and welcome to Trim and Healthy Mama Monday. I'm Claire, and this is Cookie Crumb Fun. And on Mondays, I share tips and tricks and little encouragements about Trim Healthy Mama, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining me today for Trim and Healthy Mama Monday. I share Trim and Healthy Mama encouragements on Mondays, and throughout the week I do little bits here and there of recipe reviews, how I make different things for Trim Healthy Mama. So if you're new here, thank you so much for joining me, and I'd love for you to subscribe so that you can come back and see the different videos that I offer. And I do throw in some homeschooling, some big family life videos, and little things here and there. So I don't only talk about Trim Healthy Mama. I talk about NORWEX too. So anyway, I'm going to get right to today's video because I want to be able to encourage people who are eating any sort of diet plan. The little tips that I'm going to give today are tips that can be for any way of eating. So it's about planning to succeed. I want to encourage all of us to plan to succeed. We don't want to plan to fail, do we? No, we want to plan to succeed. Just like at home, each week we need a meal plan, don't we? We need to know what's going to be for breakfast, what's going to be for lunch, what's going to be for dinner, so that we can prepare those meals for our families, right? Well, if you're eating a special way, whether it be Trim Healthy Mama, whether it be order those, I don't know what diet plans. I keep forgetting what some of them are. There's Weight Watchers, there's that the Whole30, Atkins, I don't know. Name the diet plan that you know of. There you go. Okay. So there's different ways of eating. Now, to be successful at those ways of eating, what do we need to do? We need to plan ahead our meals and places that we're going, to bring food with us and whatnot and all that stuff. Okay. So now we want to plan to succeed, not plan to fail, right? So I wrote down some things and I'm going to share them with you. All right. So what causes you to eat off your plan? Whether it be any sort of diet plan. And I'm going to relate a lot to Trim Healthy Mama because that is the way that I eat. But you can take this and turn it for any sort of way of eating. All right. So what causes you to eat off plan? We each have different stresses in our life, don't we? There are things that cause stress in our lives that brings emotional eating, that brings, a sweet tooth, cravings to different things, right? So we may have stress in our life, all sorts of different stresses. Everybody has different stress. We have stresses from, if you homeschool, you have stress. If you have to send your kids to school, there's stresses of things that are happening at school. There are things going on, issues with our children, marriage issues that we may be going through, friendship, families, all sorts of different things, all right? And you may have illness in your family. You may have a loved one that you have to take care of and you choose to take care of, because they are ill. And a lot of your energy goes to taking care of them. And, you may have a child, maybe your loved one is your husband or a parent. So those things are, that alone is going to cause some stress in our lives to maybe eat off the plan that we have. Or worry. We worry so much for our children, don't we, mothers? We worry a lot for them. And sometimes we even lose sleep over it because we want them to make the right choices, and they may be going through a hard time where they're not making the right choices, all right? So that causes our stress, and that causes us to perhaps eat off plan. And then there's temptations. Wherever we go, the temptation is everywhere. It could be watching television with a commercial, all right? Maybe there's a pizza commercial and you're like, oh, hot and fresh. Oh, it looks so good. Or maybe you're walking in the mall and there's that smell from Cinnabon that's just wafting through. Oh, it smells so good. Or the candy shop. I used to have such a temptation for gummy candies. And that's what I would do. I want some gummy lifesavers. I want some gummy bears, whatever, right? We each have our own thing. And those temptations are everywhere. We have grocery shopping to do every week, right? And what shouldn't we do grocery shopping? We shouldn't go hungry to the grocery store because we're going to buy foods that we don't want to buy. We're going to be spending money that you don't want to be spending because you're hungry. Eat something, even if it's something little, just to get your mind off your growling stomach, and so that doesn't happen, and that you don't buy foods that are off the plan of the diet that you're eating, right? Or if you're skipping a meal, we get busy. I am a homeschooling mom of 7 children, and I get busy doing that. Or I'm editing a video and I'm in front of everybody, well, at the table. I might have my computer out and then I'm forgetting what time it is because I'm totally into this, editing this video, helping my kids with this, that, or the other thing. And I didn't realize that I missed, lunch or a snack or whatever it is, right? We all experience it in different ways of skipping a meal. We get caught up in what we're doing, or maybe we're out shopping longer, or we're out visiting with a friend longer. We need to plan for success so all these things don't trigger eating off plan, right? Because now, one of the things that I like about whatever diet plan you're on, but this works even with Trim Healthy Mama, it is better to eat off plan than to not eat at all. And now this is not encouraging, oh, that's an excuse to eat off plan. No, it's not. But you need food in your stomach. So if all you have, you took your kids to a play place and you're saying, I'm not going to buy anything, I'm not going to eat the French fries, I'm not going to eat a hamburger. So you get like maybe a coffee or you just drink water, but then you're there for a really long time because the kids are having so much fun and then it's time to eat. And you're like, I'll just get the French fries, right? But it is better to eat that, whatever it may be, wherever you are. I just use McDonald's as an example. But wherever you are, whatever you might eat off plan, it is better to eat that than to go hungry. That is just my way of looking at it, okay? You could be watching this and saying, Claire, I don't agree with that. Don't agree with it. That's fine. You don't have to agree with everything. We all have our own opinions. So skipping a meal is really hard though. When we get busy into our lives, we do skip the meals, and that does, put a wrench in the system, a kink. That's what it is. Puts a kink, right? So, or maybe not bringing planned foods. If you know that you're going to go to the playground and you're going to be there a while because you also have to stop here, there, or other places, or you're going to be out doing other things, running errands, then plan to bring some water with you so that you have a drink. Plan to bring maybe a snack, whether it is a cheese stick, an apple, a yogurt, some nuts, a little side salad or something like that. Plan ahead. This will help us to eat on plan and not off plan, no matter what diet plan you're following, right? Stash something in your purse so that you always have something there. Like almonds are great because you can put them in a little snack baggie and you can put them in your purse so that you always have something with you for when you go out, or in the diaper bag, whatever it is that you carry, right? So how can we prevent eating off plan, right? We can't keep the stresses away. We can't keep the illness away. These things happen. The worry and the temptations are always going to be around us. But how can we say no temptation, right? No to temptation, all right? How can we prevent this? We need to make a menu plan, all right? So that we don't wonder what's for dinner and then end up making something that we don't want to eat. We need to have a menu plan. Menu planning is great even if you're not following a diet plan, because it is helpful in knowing what you're going to eat, to have the meat thought out, to make sure you have all the ingredients, right? So you need to bake some sweets, because there are times where we crave sweets more than other times. So we should always have a stockpile of something. There, for Trim Healthy Mama, we can make some muffins and put them in the freezer. We can make brownies. The Cry No More brownies are amazing. And one of these days I'm going to make those payday off candy bars, the payday off candies with the what is it, peanuts and caramel type thing, and having a stash of those, or those no bake Trim Healthy Mama no bake cookies, having a stash in the freezer or the fridge or wherever we want to keep our stuff is going to be helpful. Because if you have to be up late doing, maybe you work at home and you stay up late working, doing different things, or you have a job, or if you're homeschooling and you're grading papers or whatever, you don't want to be fighting with the temptation of eating snacks that you have for the rest of the family that you don't want to eat. So having sweets, you can make some muffins from whatever plan you're following. Trim Healthy Mama is great muffin recipes. There's the peachy ones. I have a video on the just peachy muffins, and they are great to have as a snack or a breakfast. So those types of things. Brownies, all sorts of cakes that you can make. There's that zucchini cake that you can make. There's a great fuel pull cake. I'll try to find the link for that. I have a recipe card of it. I'm trying to remember what site it's from, but it's made from oat fiber and it is fantastic. You technically could eat the whole thing. I think it comes in the 8x8 pan you put it in. You technically could eat the whole thing and it's still a fuel pull. Isn't that amazing? But it's really good for when you want something sweet, and you can make it ahead of time and you could freeze it in portion sizes so that you have that item, right? So making meals ahead, like those snacks, like those treats, anything that like meal prep. A lot of people have videos on YouTube about, freezer to cooking days. We have videos on like our kitchen days, women call them, right? They're kitchen days. And you cut up all your veggies. You prep everything ahead of time. Now, sometimes I don't want to eat a salad because I'm like, oh, I don't want to cut up all those vegetables, right? Just something minor as cutting up vegetables can cause, oh, I don't want to eat, right? Well, make a salad. So getting them all cut up ahead of time and in containers is really helpful, isn't it? Even if you don't, if it's for your meal plan, like if you're having tacos a couple days, you can cut up everything, or brown up your meat ahead of time and stick it in the freezer or the fridge, depending on how long it's going to be in there, right? So cut up your salad ingredients, chop up your chicken, chop up your celery, your carrots, make some hard-boiled eggs, have all that stuff available so that you can plan for success and prevent, eating off plan. All right, so now I'm going to share with you a few make-ahead ideas. Now, a lot of these are Trim Healthy Mama meals that I wrote down and ideas for that. But you can just think of what you eat. What can I make ahead that would cause me to have success this week in my diet? That's going to cause me to lose a couple pounds and not eat off the plan that I'm following, right? So now we can't eliminate stress and illness and worry from our lives. Now, we can work on making it better, but we can't eliminate it completely. Everybody has different stresses, and stress does make us gain weight because we'll eat off plan. But let's plan for success by making ahead some muffins, like I mentioned before, making ahead brownies or cakes. Find out what you're allowed to have and whatever plan you follow, and make a few of them. Make like a cupcake portion of the cake, all right? Or overnight oats. If you have a jar or some sort of plastic container that you can put your overnight oats in, you can make a few of them to last the week, and it could be a quick snack at night. It could be if you're running late, you can grab it if it's in those canning jars. Sometimes you can put them in these little canning jars like this and stick them in your fridge with a lid on it, and then you have that to grab because you usually eat it cold. You grab it and take it with you if you have to get out of the house in the morning. Or, if you drive your kids to school or something like that, or if you work, those are great things, and you can eat it maybe at your desk if you work in an office, if you're allowed to eat food in your office, okay? There is the muffin cup eggs, all right? You can just take some scrambled eggs and get some cheese and some vegetables to cut up or some little diced lunch meats and put them in all your muffin cups, and you could bake those and have those and freeze those for your week's breakfast. And those would be even good for your children for a quick breakfast. And you can also do it with egg whites if you want a more like an E-friendly breakfast if you're doing Trim Healthy Mama. So now I got this idea from Sweetly Home Mandy about making a big batch of soup. That's what she says she does to help her lunches to eat a good lunch, that she has a lunch that there's minimum prep. Because you have made a big batch, whether you make it in your slow cooker or your stock pot or whatever it is, you have that in your fridge and it could last you the week. You could freeze some and have it for, if you think you're going to get tired of eating it after a couple days, you could freeze it up and, right portion sizes. So that is a great idea. I really love that idea. So thank you, Mandy, for making that on your Trim Healthy Mama collab video too. All right, cut up vegetables. Now, I just mentioned this before. Have a kitchen day. This is one thing that I do not do that I need to figure out how to incorporate into my week. Have some sort of, I couldn't do a kitchen day because I have 7 children. We homeschool, but I could take some time in the evening or after lunch or something if there's a time of the day that I need to figure out where my kids could do without me for like an hour or so and cut up my salad ingredients. Cook the ground beef and then cool it and put it in portion sizes for meals, things like that, right? So that would really help. Now, some other things are start a food journal. If you're not sure why you're not losing weight on Trim Healthy Mama or Weight Watchers or whatever it is that you're following, make a food journal and write down everything that you put in your mouth. And if it's helpful, write down what's you're craving and what you're doing so that you know what you're doing that's causing you to want to eat off plan. Like, what did I just do that's causing me to want to eat that chocolate bar? Where did I go and why was I hungry when I got there? Like, if you're going to the mall and you have that temptation of the ice cream or the smoothies or the pretzels. See, I would love to eat a whole pretzel. There's this commercial. See, we have Netflix and Hulu, and there's this commercial of this lady. It's for some migraine medicine. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I think that's what it is. Or maybe it's a different one. I don't know, something like that. She's walking around with this big pretzel in her hand. And we just saw it the other day, and I'm like, oh, boys, I want pretzels, right? Bread is my weakness. I would love a giant pretzel. See, I'm causing you to want something, to desire some foods right now, aren't I? You don't want that pretzel. No, you don't. Go find a low-carb recipe for some, because there are some out there. So figure out what it is. Write down where you went that's causing you to want to eat certain foods or to eat off plan, or what's tempting you, or what's going on in your life. Maybe you had a stressful day and you didn't realize it, and that's causing. Maybe there was some triggers that happened that you could try to pray about and prevent, so that next time you don't have those triggers to cause you to want to eat off plan. And the food journal is a huge help. I started one and I never was faithful to it. But then once I did, I started it up again, and writing down the things you eat, you see what you ate. You're like, well, that's why I didn't lose any weight this week. Look what I did even if you're snacking on foods while you're making food for your kids, I've done that before. That's one of the things that I did that caused me to lose or to gain the 25 pounds back. So, food journaling, super helpful. And you don't need a big fancy notebook. You can use one of these, like these binder notebook things, like these sort of things, just that's all you need. You don't need anything fancy. And if you want it pretty, just buy some stickers or just draw on it. So know what your triggers are. Know what it is that's causing you to have stressful eating, or binge eating, or, if it's staying up late at night that's causing you to eat off plan, or whatever it may be, not planning ahead, what temptation, shopping hungry, skipping your meals. Figure out what your triggers are, and then write down what they are. Make a little, a little notebook, make a little bullet journal, like this is what causes me to eat off plan. So work on these things and pray over that list. God wants our bodies to be healthy. God wants us to be healthy so that we can serve him. Because if we're not healthy, our lives are not going to be lasting as long as, well, you know what I mean. We're going to have issues that are going to prevent us from doing some of the things that the Lord wants us to do with our lives. That's what I mean. So pray about it. Ask God to guide you, to give you wisdom, to give you help, and get a support system somewhere. If you have somebody, there's groups on Facebook, there's, the YouTube, if you have friends here on the YouTube community, or at church, or wherever it is that your friends are, or your family, get them to call them and say, if I'm tempted to eat something off plan, can I give you a call or a text and you can talk me into not eating it or something like that, right? So I hope that these tips are able to help you. I hope that they encourage you. I want these tips. Most of all, I want you just to be encouraged. I want this to be helpful to you, where you look at what you're doing right or wrong, and you say, I need to do more of this right, and this is what I'm doing wrong, and I need to fix those things, those steps. I need to prevent those things from happening, whether if it's not meal planning or not planning ahead for your meals or for your snacks, whatever it is. Let's work it out, and let's just be successful at what we're doing. Sometimes we're not going to lose weight. We're going to have weeks where we're not losing weight. We're not losing inches, but our bodies are going to be recovering and being so healthy. And our bodies are going to go, oh, thank you for eating that salad. Thank you for drinking all your water today. All right. So if you have a helpful tip of something that perhaps I did not mention today that would help and would encourage others, no matter what diet plan that they're following, go ahead and put it in the comments below, because I want each of us to just be encouraging and to share helpful tips with each other. Now, if you are on Trim Healthy Mama, I want you to come back next week, because next week's plan of attack for my video I have written down right here is I'm going to start sharing more budget-friendly meals for Trim Healthy Mama. A lot of people have a hard time on Trim Healthy Mama because we all have tight budgets. And I'm trying to lower my food budget each week, and I'm trying to spend less money. And I want to come out with a budget-friendly way of eating Trim Healthy Mama. Now, there are plenty of places out there, and I'm going to share a whole bunch of links next week. But there are lots of websites. You can check Pinterest, just do budget friendly trim healthy mama, and you're going to come up with a whole bunch of stuff. But that's what I'm going to work on for next week. So thank you so much for joining me today for Trim Healthy Mama Monday. And I hope you come back next week for the budget friendly meal ideas and tips that I'll share next week. So until then, I'll see you next week and be a blessing.